Well, this is our final weekend together before the election. Those are looking to take the White House. The University of Florida's election lab data shows nationally more than 78 million votes were cast for who will become the next president of the United States. Candidates for the top offices are traveling for their last-minute campaign stops as we take a live look at the White House. Now, we have a map from the University of Florida showing the early voting turnout and mail-in ballots returned by the state. West Virginia, at last check, more than 260,000 people have cast their votes, about 587,000 in Kentucky, with more than 2.3 million Ohio citizens submitting their decisions. Today was the last day for early voting in Ohio, as we have that election map right here. Shelby Burrow, though, visited the polls today and is joining us in the studio with that story. Hey, Shelby.
Well, Daniel, that's right. And as of noon today, Meigs, Vinton, Jackson, Gallia, Scioto, and Lawrence counties had more than 45,000 total votes cast. Now, that is also including mail-in ballots.
We love it. We actually love it. We have lots of space here, and we have parking's great, better than when we were in the courthouse, and everybody who's come in and voted has loved it.
Early voting has brought in great turnouts. Lawrence County, Ohio officials say they've had foot traffic coming through the polls each day.
Except for COVID, this has been our largest in-person voting.
Voters say submitting their ballots early has made a world of difference.
I would totally recommend to come early vote. That way you don't have to wait in long lines and you can do it at your own convenience.
Voter Ashley Hutchinson says today was a big day for her and her daughter.
I'm just happy that I got to vote today with my daughter. This is her first time voting.
As the crowds dwindled today, Hutchinson and her daughter say they're glad they missed those long lines.
It was very fast and it was very easy. I didn't have any problems with it.
Kylie Thomas says with her current schedule, she wouldn't have been able to cast her vote if the polls were only opened for one day.
I'm a college student at Marshall right now, so it was a lot easier to just vote on the weekend and not have to worry about coming home to vote.
Thomas says she's a first-time voter and she plans to early vote in future elections to take away the stress of making it to her polling place on Election Day.
I was very excited. It's my first time. I was really excited to do it.
The polls will be open again on Tuesday at 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Live in the studio, Shelby Burrow, Eyewitness News.
Shelby, thank you. We're now going to take a live look at Cleveland. In Ohio, Senate seat is up for grabs, and this race is considered the most expensive non-presidential race in U.S. history. $500 million spent on ads between the two, between current Senator Sherrod Brown looking to keep his seat in the solid red Ohio, Bernie Moreno looking to take it from him. Both candidates traveled to central Ohio today. In West Virginia's most populated county, Kanawha County Clerk Vera McCormick believes turnout this year was record-breaking. There are 123,000 registered voters in Kanawha County. Some voters say they chose to visit the polls early because it takes away the stress of having to do it on Election Day.
For the last several years, I came earlier. It makes it more convenient. It frees up your day. With a work schedule, it's hard to sometimes come out on the Election Day to do it. So it's just the perfect thing to do it. And it's the right thing to do if you can.
Polls will be open Tuesday from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. One of the most watched races in the Mountain State is who will become West Virginia's 37th governor. Candidates Democrat Steve Williams and Republican Patrick Morrisey met for their first and only debate last Tuesday. Eyewitness News spoke with both candidates beforehand for our Beyond the Podium conversations.
We've stepped up and we fought to protect every West Virginian. And I think about the opportunities to serve as governor. We're going to be able to do so much good to lift up that standard of living, to drive educational attainment while we keep our West Virginia values. So
we're trying to fix roads. We have to make sure that our neighborhoods are safe. We're doing everything that we can to create prosperity within our community.
Well, for the first time in more than a decade, West Virginia will elect a new attorneys general to represent the state's interest. That's State Auditor Republican J.B. McCuskey to face off with Wheeling attorney Teresa Torzova for the seat on the ballot.
The reason I am running is because 90% of our government is Republican and I'm a Democrat. I'm the vice chair of the West Virginia Democratic Party, and I can tell you that the Democratic Party in West Virginia is strong and we are energized, and we've seen a lot of energy really an incredible energy surge since the Harris nomination.
Having that experience, I think, gives me a huge leg up as we continue to battle against a federal government that doesn't want us fracking gas and doesn't want us mining coal, because we all know that the electricity demand in this country is going to go nothing but up. And West Virginia is in a absolutely prime position to continue the momentum that we've had.
The race for Senator Joe Manchin's U.S. Senate seat is between Republican Governor Jim Justice and Democrat real estate broker and attorney Glenn Elliott. Governor Justice told reporters in September, quote, "I don't want to say this in an egotistical way. In the primary, I didn't put out a sign and I won by 35 plus points. The people of this state know me, and they know me really well, and I have done almost zero campaigning," end quote. Elliott is going head-to-head with Governor Justice. He served as the mayor of Wheeling since winning the seat in 2016. The two opponents, however, did not debate. Justice previously said that he doesn't need to campaign. There are three candidates vying to become the next mayor of Huntington. Jennifer Wheeler is running as a Democrat. She's twice elected to the member of Huntington City Council and served as the council chair. Patrick Farrell is running as a Republican. He's an Air Force veteran who became a businessman investing in energy and infrastructure. He also serves on the Marshall Board of Governors. Jay Michael is an independent. He pursued a career in the entertainment, living in Los Angeles and Nashville before returning to his home state. Our Shelby Burrow interviewed all three mayoral candidates ahead of Tuesday's election. You can find those full interviews over on our website, WCHS-TV.com. Unlike West Virginia and Ohio, Kentucky only has 3 days of in-person voting, and voters took full advantage of that. There were long lines reported at polling locations across northern Kentucky. Now, the Boone County Clerk, Justin Kragler says that it makes for a compressed time frame, but besides those long waits, he says things ran smoothly and big turnout helped reduce the even larger crowds expected on Election Day. All people are watching not only in terms of the votes, but also for that weather. Meteorologist Dante Ricky is now joining us because we're talking hour by hour about these potential record forecasts, right?
Yes, Daniel, a warm day is in store as we head into Election Day on Tuesday. But another important thing is, will it be a dry one? I'm going to make my weather election, and the people also have spoken a little bit early because it's important to get this right.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Dante. The countdown till the polls open in the Mountain State continues ticking away. We are 1 day, 7+ hours until you can cast your vote. But voters in Pittsburgh, however, have seen more political ads than anywhere else, according to a new report from Bloomberg. Now, it just brings us more evidence of how much time and money the two presidential candidates are spending in Pennsylvania. That's a state that's remained tied in the polls for months. National correspondent Christine Frizzau is bringing us a look at what other states are in play and the final message to voters and what they're hearing.
In the final days of the campaign, a battleground blitz.
Unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe that people who disagree with me are the enemy.
This is all you need to know. Kamala broke it, and we will fix it, and we're going to fix it fast.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, with dueling rallies in Milwaukee Friday, spent the weekend making stops in Georgia and North Carolina, with signs of worry there for the Trump team.
When you're winning by a lot, you can still lose by a little, and we can't take a chance of losing the great state of North Carolina.
An average of recent polls showing Trump ahead in North Carolina and Arizona by 4, but down in Wisconsin and Nevada. Still, no state appears to matter more than Pennsylvania, with its 19 electoral votes.
I see my mom and what she did for me. I feel as though if it's anything like the women in my family, it's going to be sharp.
What issues are most important to you when you're going to go to the polls on Tuesday?
Women's rights, the living, the groceries. This year was bad. Like, price of groceries was ridiculous. Milk was crazy.
In Michigan, home to the largest Arab population in the country, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib urged supporters to vote.
Don't underestimate the power you all have.
Still, she remains one of the few Democrats who has not endorsed Harris, with fears that anger over the Biden administration's support for Israel and its war in Gaza could cost Kamala Harris the state, as she walks a fine line, trying to win them over, as well as Jewish voters in Pennsylvania.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating.
I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself.
A final push from the candidates as voters, especially in swing states, weigh their choices.
Half the people I know are on one side, the other half on the other side, and they're all good people. So I hope the best person wins, because I'm not sure who it is.
Most people, on the other hand, do know who they want. 75 million Americans have already voted early. That's about half as many people who voted in total 4 years ago. I'm Christine Frizzau reporting.